What is going on, Zinger Nation? I'm back. I was gone for, I think, 2 weeks, and now I'm back. Show's moved to Sundays. We're going to be having some fun, talking some tickers, reviewing for what's coming up in the next coming week. Show's going to be a little bit different now that it's on Sundays. Audience is probably going to be a lot smaller. We'll see what we can do. We'll do our best. That means whatever questions you ask, I'll hopefully be able to ask them faster. My banners and stuff are kind of gone, but that's okay. I'm going to figure all that out. Jeff, what's going on, buddy? Welcome back. I'm glad you're here on a Sunday. What's going on? Manny, what's up, buddy? All right, so let's play the intro music and then we will jump right into it. So let's get going. All right. What's going on? Larry, I see you down there. What's up, buddy? All right, so we got a lot to talk about. We got an exciting week coming up. Look, FOMC is done. It looks like the whole Evergrande situation is probably over now. It's been priced into the markets with everything going on. Yes, I made my head disappear during the transition video. It's a little bit toasty in this room, but I wanted to make sure we were good to go. Let me just grab the old coffee. We're gonna need to. It's been 2 weeks. I haven't done this. My throat's gonna get dry, so we're gonna need it. World Travel Magazine. What's going on? Pen and notebook ready. Perfect. I put up a tweet yesterday because I was anticipating a small audience. I said, hey, if you have any stocks you guys want me to go over, drop them in the chat or the replies and I'll go over them. But first, as always, if you guys are not new to the show, if you guys know the show, you guys know that I love to go over SPY first. SPY had a very turbulent past 2 weeks. I haven't been here for 2 weeks, so we're going to talk about it for 2 seconds, and then we're going to go into your stocks. We had a gap in this chart as predicted with the CPI data that I did on my YouTube channel. We came back, we got everything going back, and everything was going strong. Hold on, my sharing is messed up, so I need to stop sharing really quickly. And then I'm going to video share my screen one. Boom, we are back. Perfect. There we go. I just wanted to get that going. I need to get my Benzinga Pro up as well. Sorry, guys. It's I can't believe it. It's been 2 weeks. I haven't done this, so I'm kind of off my game a little bit, but I'm not off my stock game. Stock game's going, but the Benzinga streaming game might be a little bit off for like 2 seconds, but then it's like riding a bike. We're going to get right back into it. I've honestly missed doing this show so much, and I'm so happy I got a slot here on Sundays with you guys so that we can kind of get things going. First time in a 4 p.m. session. That's 2 listening about crypto. We'll definitely talk about crypto. Ross Mayer, I see you, buddy. Apple. We will definitely talk about Apple. We got to talk about Apple. I got Ross. I got it. I got my hands on the phone. I was able to find one at Costco. Got very lucky. I didn't get the Pro Max, got the Pro, but I want the Pro Max. So I'm probably going to have to switch this out to the Pro Max. But it's a very big change for me going from a lifelong Samsung user, so you can probably tell from the cameras, lifelong Samsung user to an Apple. So I'm still transitioning and learning how that all goes. What's up, Mez? What's going on? Welcome. All right, so look. Let's jump into it. We got a lot of fun to do. I don't know if there's a show after this. I got no clue what's going on. I might be the only program that goes for like the next 10 hours, but we're going to have fun. SPY, CPI data came in. CPI data was good, but we still got a negative reaction in the market. Quite unfortunate. There's a lot of FUD events that happened. Evergrande, FOMC, a lot of this stuff happened, right? And then we had a big gap down in SPY. It was a huge gap down, 100% due to Evergrande. Everyone was afraid that Evergrande was going to be this caustic event that would kind of bleed into our markets and cause FUD. So once you're scared of an event like that happening, you're going to trigger an event like that happening. And they did. We had a big drop all the way. We closed at 441.40. The previous Friday, so 2 Fridays ago, and then we opened up at a low of 434.88, so we gapped down. Then slowly over time, as expected, as predicted, as always, SPY began to recover. We regained the 50 MA here. We closed above it, I believe, on Friday. Yes, we did. Closed above the 50 MA on Friday, and things are chugging along, and I think we're going to have a quite beautiful green week going into this week, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to this week going smoothly because all the chaos is done. This gap has been filled. There's only one gap left on SPY, which I think we've talked about on this show forever, which is the 400 to 403 gap here, which will not be filled unless we have a swan event or a black swan event. there. But if we take a look at this, everyone was waiting for a correction. I actually haven't measured this lot myself. So if we go from the high point to SPY to the low point, it's only a 5.6% drop. Realistically, it's not that bad at all. Ross is telling me gaps fill 80% of the time. So hopefully that's one of the 20%, Ross, that doesn't get filled, or else it will get quite ugly. But hey, it is what it is. We're going to start off with some stocks that I want to talk to you guys about. And then and stocks that I'm looking at going into this week that I'm going to be playing, that I'm going to be buying, either commons or options. I'm going to share some of them with you. Of course, we do the weekly watch list and stuff on the Patreon with the course and all that stuff. I'll talk about that later. But the first stock that I'm really focused on this week, it's TSM. TSM, right? Not the metal company that's really being pumped online. This is TSMC, which is Taiwan Semiconductor Company. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. So why am I so focused on Taiwan Semiconductor? So I had these two gaps previously that filled. The reason I'm focused on Taiwan Semiconductor, or TSM, the chip shortage is a big deal. So as you guys know me, I like to play pick and shovel plays. What is that? That means I will play the actual thing that's being affected, as well as the thing that produces this thing that's technically being affected. So for example, if I'm going to play an EV company like Tesla, I'm going to also play a charger company with it that charges the EV, as well as a battery company with it. TSM is the company that produces chips for Apple, Nvidia, AMD, ARM. All these companies come to the Taiwan Semiconductor and say, hey, we have these chip designs, we want you to make them. So Taiwan is a big player in the semiconductor space, hence why I'm loading up in commons in this one. I have options in this one as well, because I believe that as the semiconductor shortage gets worse and worse, these guys are going to start ramping up. They already raised prices on Apple's chips by 20% on Apple. Now, thankfully, Apple didn't turn around and put that onto the customer, but Apple's going to feel that in the bottom line. Chip shortage is going to get much worse and worse. Trust me, as someone who had to wait 4 hours to get their hands on the new iPhone, which made no sense whatsoever having to wait that long in the year 2021 for a cell phone, it's bad. So I can show you an example of how bad this situation is and why I think this is so bad. So let me take you a simple example, right? Let's go to the Apple website and let's try to pre-order an iPhone. The iPhone launched on Friday, right? iPhone launched on Friday. We are super zoomed in for some reason, but let's say we want to buy the iPhone. Here we go. We're going to buy the iPhone 13 Pro. We're going to go with Sierra Blue. We're going to go into 12 giggy. We're going to connect it later. We're not going to trade or anything. We're just going to do a one-time payment. We don't want no Apple Care. Now, there's a point to this. I promise you, take a look at this. This got longer. So when I did this initial experiment, this said October 24th to October 26th. Now it says October 26th to November 2nd. It's getting much worse. Much worse. Yeah, see, Rosmir saying that his sister went Friday for an iPhone and it takes 4 weeks. This is worse, November 2nd. This is going to get much worse and worse with these companies. Now, how do you benefit from this? These companies clearly been sort of trading sideways for a bit. And I think once the markets start understanding the true value of the chip shortage, companies like this are going to get a pop. Another company that's going to get a pop because of the chip shortage, obviously AMD. AMD, of course, had its kind of this atmospheric rise, this meteoric rise to 122, and then kind of cooled off, came down to the 95 area, I believe it was. I'm sorry, 99.50, and is now slowly chugging up. I think AMD is ready to make its next ascend back up to its higher levels again one more time. It's time to do that. Nvidia has been the leader in this space with price movements, right? When Nvidia got added, when Nvidia announced their split, their company just started rising up massively. The split happened. We were expecting the stock price to come down, but clearly not. It ran back up again to another high of 230, cooled off, and is now going back to try to retest 230. We're back to 220 again. So these are three big ones that I'm watching. Another one you can probably play as well is Moo. It's a microtech chip company as well. Both companies are doing well, but you can see here, this one's fighting resistance at the 50 MA and trying to make its way upward. So this is kind of the chip companies that I'm really watching going into this week. Apple is also another company. Ross mentioned it earlier. He wanted me to go over it. It's actually a good time to talk about it. Apple, you're going to be hearing about the numbers of the iPhone sold. That's going to cause a big pop. Obviously, Apple had a big sell-off both due to the Evergrande situation and during the Apple event that happened. I don't remember the exact date of the Apple event, but the Apple event causes it's bearish and historically bearish. And me and my team had I think it was here I think it was the 14th we played puts on it, or whenever the Apple event was, we played puts on. But also this day here on the Patreon, I alerted puts in the morning because Apple just looked weak, and then we were meant to kind of swing that into the Apple event, and then kind of the event happened where the court case came out, and they were like, "Hey, no, Apple, you can't charge 30% anymore," and kind of so that's going to go back and forth with Apple, but I think that is just going to keep going. Appreciate you, Russ. Thank you. So there's a lot that's going to go on there. And we're going to definitely talk about all this stuff. So Apple, I think this week is going to start ramping up again. The gap did fill, and this gap down is going to go up again. We break the 9 EMA, we break the 50 MA, we break the 20 MA. That's the midline of the Bollinger Band is the 20 MA. The way I have it set up, you can make breaks to go to higher highs. Again, these drops happen historically. I sat down and I mapped the past 4 to 5 years of Apple with their Apple iPhone releases at the event, the launch, and all that. After the launch, it tends to kind of make its way back up based off of what I saw the past I think he did 3 years or 5 years, one of those two. And I sent that out to Patreon members. So Apple's looking great. So I do want to start off and go over some of the stocks that you guys mentioned. So I'm going to scroll up. So we did Apple already with Ross. Fourth session, crypto, cool. CARP. Someone's asking for CAPR. CAPR. Now, I think I do want to say this before we keep going. None of this is meant to be financial advice. Obviously, it's all for education and entertainment purposes only. There's usually a banner that says that underneath the screen. Unfortunately, I don't know where my banners are right now. I think I'm stuck in the weekend shows, so that kind of throws me off a little bit as to how my setup was done, or maybe my folder got deleted. I don't know. I'll have it fixed by next time for sure. Okay, so CARP. I have never heard of this company before. Let's take a look at what they do. Pharmaceuticals and biotechnology. I'm garbage when it comes to bio stocks, but I'm going to treat this as if it's a regular chart, and I'm going to tell you my personal opinion as to how I would play this. So clearly, CARP is a low float. 22.51 million float, under 50 million. Some people say low float. I say under 100 million. I go by that standard. Had a big pop, went to 585 and then cooled off. Was there any news about this company 2 days ago? It is moving higher as the something cell therapy slows disease progress by 71%. Fantastic news. So on good news, it had a big pop. Not as big as a pop that you'd imagine. I would imagine like on a cancer curing news or cancer progressive news, you'd get a bigger pop, but it had a pop. Now, my rule is if you break above the Bollinger Band, and if you look historically on this chart, another break above the Bollinger Band, break above the Bollinger Band, another break above the Bollinger Band, it's followed by a red candle. Red candle, red candle. So I'd imagine that CARP or Capper or whatever you want to call it cools off and comes down the following day. So I'm imagining on Monday, it'll probably begin cooling off. It already started cooling off in the after hours. So that will take it from there. What great. No, this is not financial advice, Bulldog. What are you doing to me? Trying to get me in trouble? But okay, so that's Capper or CARP. We did that one. What do we got next? NAKD. Let's go. Rashad P is asking. Rashad, I hope that's how you say it. NAKD. Look at that. Woo, big pop. So NAKD was one that we were actually swinging in the Patreon as well. Did very well for us. I think we swung it from here to here. I put out a weekly watch list, and then nightly I send out nightly updates with plays that I like going into the rest of the week. Pennies are obviously the hardest thing to find these days with the way that the penny stock market's been moving. So NAKD did very well, and it looks like it had a replayability value and came back down and popped one more time. NAKD, I do not like this candle. Don't like this inverse hammer candle. It's kind of a bearish candle in my opinion. It's not fully bearish, but it's not bullish, right? This is just I don't like this candle. Also, I don't like that it gapped up. So this is one of those stocks that tends to get pumped on Twitter a lot, Rashad. And that means it can move. It is a higher float, so it needs a lot of volume. As you can see here, on this day, it had 288 million in volume. If you look at the previous day, only 25 million volume. Your average volume is 37 million. So clearly it had a lot of volume, but it was still not able to sustain it. Sellers were still in massive control of this candle. We can take a look at it on the 30-minute chart. If you see here, ran up essentially your first half an hour of the day. And then around 10:30, started essentially selling off. In the after hours, you have pops, but these are still low volume buys that came in. This is essentially your biggest buy here in the after hours, which is unusual, but it came in, right? You can't discount this one because it's not like if you look at this one, it's not like a 2-volume, 3-volume buy. These are big volume buys. So now the question is, will it on Monday come again or retest the 75-cent area? Based on after hours activity, I think it could. What I would be watching though, most importantly, I hope you guys can hear me. I had my mic in a really bad position. What I would definitely be paying attention to more than anything here in this setup is I'd be paying attention to the pre-market. Be taking a look at to see if this momentum is sustained in the pre-market before trading starts again. So that's kind of my 2 cents on that one. Are Apple and Musk in some business new? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. Open, sure, let's take a look. Open is actually a very interesting setup on the daily chart. Open is coming back and testing the $20 area, which has kind of been historically an area that SPACs enjoy. Now, if you guys remember, Open used to be IPOB, one of the Chamath SPACs. And if you look here, Open has essentially formed a rounding bottom pattern here and kind of broke out of it. So if I put this kind of line here, essentially sort of a rounding bottom pattern, you could probably see that here. And it kind of broke out of this resistance area that it had previously. Look here, it was resistance here, resistance here, resistance here, but it finally broke out. Now the question becomes, is it sustainable going into Monday to continue this breakout of this resistance and keep going? That's what's really, really important here, is to pay attention to that. And that's really relying on one simple thing: volume. Is volume going to be there? Is this going to keep going? We'll have to see. Personally, I think it can. I think Open's been depressed for a while, so I think it's setting up to kind of get to this kind of next resistance area, which is okay. I need to. I have the drawing tool on, but I wasn't telling it what to do anything. So I think it could certainly, with volume there, make its next move to the $22 area, $22.50 area. So take it one step at a time. You're in the 20s. Let's get to 21 first. Let's get to 20.50 first, and then 21 around here. As you can see here, these candles, just follow these candles here. Then you can probably get to the $22 area fairly well. It is a higher volume, a higher float stock, but with the correct amount of volume, it could keep chugging. As you can see here, it's just been on a nice brigade moving upward and doing very, very well for itself. Alexander says, what do you think about NUE? Let's talk about it. NUE, Nucor. By the way, folks, if you're watching this, we are doing a Sunday stream. I'm going to need you to ignite that like button for me. Hit that like button. I don't have a little cool banner asking you to do it, but if you could, it would mean a lot. It's my first stream back in 2 weeks. I'd really enjoy it if we can get some numbers on that like button. So Nucor, I've heard of these guys before, the mineral, iron and steel minerals. So minerals have been on a kind of decline. Well, not minerals in general, but this stock has been on a kind of a decline. As you can see here, it came down to this low point. Again, I'm clicking, but my thing hasn't been selected. So there we go. It came down to the low point of 93, and it's slowly chugging up. It formed resistance here. If you look on the 9 EMA, which was support for the longest amount of time, reverted into resistance on the 9 EMA. So you need to be able to break above this 9 EMA resistance, and if you can get up there, it can do very, very well. No, you guys aren't too late. You guys can keep asking questions. Just throw them in the chat, and I will definitely keep going and answering as many as I can. We got time still here. We got time. There's nobody telling me to go off. So if you guys got any questions, I will definitely cover. I promise. I'm seeing all your tickers coming in, so I will definitely make sure to answer them. So again, the biggest thing, Alexander, is you need to break above this 9 EMA. Once you break the 9 EMA, you'll be met at the next resistance level around 110, which is around 108. I would say 108, 109. Which is your 50 and your 20 MA. If you can break that, that's going to be harder to break, in my opinion. These resistance points tend to be harder to break. If you can break those resistance points, then you got a nice clean path upward. But again, keep an eye on the overall sector for minerals and mining. That will be affecting a lot of the different ways that your stock moves and operates. All right, Mr. Fawad, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say it. The person who asked for any stock. Any is going to be an interesting play. Look, I said this about SPRT. I'm going to give you this warning about any as well. I would not hold this through the merger, personally. My 2 cents. I said this about SPRT and GRE, that merger happening. I said don't hold it. Came down 70-80%, if I remember correctly. Same thing here. I would not hold through the merger. Merger date has not been set. It's Q4 of 2021. You still have a lot of time, but I'm just saying, if this is your play, be careful. Any, just like all the other Bitcoin stocks, operates with Bitcoin. So we need to look at Bitcoin, and then we can come back to any. So let's go quickly over to Bitcoin, and then I'll come back to any. And because there's a few other Bitcoin stocks that people have asked me about on Twitter that I definitely want to answer and definitely want to discuss with you guys. So I'm pulling up Bitcoin's chart for you here, and we're going to do that. So I'm just really quickly parallel to that. I'm going to be kind of scrolling down to find some of those questions that people asked. Have that there on the side. Okay, so any is like 5 people are asking for any as well there, so it'll be kind of a parallel situation. By the way, if we're doing your stocks Q&A, I'd appreciate a like button smash. That'd mean the world to me. Bitcoin, interesting setup. 0% candles have been popping up a lot on Bitcoin. See, this one's a 0%, this one's a 0%, and this one's a 0% candle. Don't be freaked out. This has happened before quite a few times, but it's just weird to see them. I'm not used to seeing them. It's just weird to see them. The 50 MA and 20 50 MA, the 200 MA, and 90 MA support are all out the window, unfortunately. Our support areas are gone. If we turn on Bollinger Bands, we are dealing with, I need to recolor these or else I'm going to go crazy seeing a bunch of different colors. So I'd like to set my mid to red. By the way, Bollinger Bands are a cheat code of an indicator when you're trading stocks. They're a cheat code of an indicator. They're really one of the best. Please learn how to use Bollinger Bands. If you're in my Patreon, the course has 3 videos now on Bollinger Bands, so you can definitely watch those and learn how to use Bollinger Bands. And I know a lot of you have been watching those, and I appreciate you guys, and I know you guys are liking them. Bullish candle here. You got a very bullish candle forming here. Again, on Webull, the candles close at midnight, so we'll have to see them. You're forming a hammer candle, which is quite bullish. Let me see if I can pull up. I have an infographic that I posted on my Twitter, I want to say a week ago, that does candles. So I'm going to post that for you. And so what I'm going to do is on this page, if you go to ryanstocks.com, which might be in the description, is it? Yes, it is. If you go to ryanstocks.com, click on the 4th tile, it'll take you to my Twitter. I'm going to retweet that infographic right now for the candles. That way you guys can have this little cheat code that I use myself all the time too. Look, there's so much stuff in the stock world that it becomes, you need kind of reference points to go back to. And I think this infographic is a really cool one that I use all the time too. Like, hey, bullish, bearish, what is it? Sometimes you need it. So let me just show you what that tweet is. Here it is. Bada boom. Let's see if you guys can see it. Are we live? We are live. Still going. All right, boom. There it is. So you can see here. Remember, if you remember, I told you guys previously, I think it was on the open chart, one of those charts. I said this candle is least bullish. So you can see your most bullish is you got the full body candle. Second is your hammer candle. Think of it like your Thor's hammer, bullish. Then you got your mid. Then you got your Doji candle here. Dojis are least bullish, least bearish. They're kind of indecisive. It indicates like a change in the direction of price. You've got, again, your less bullish is this one. Your sellers have been kind of pushing it down. You cannot sustain the price. And your least bullish is kind of this like wicker. I think this one's called Dragonfly. Don't quote me on the name of this one. One of these is the Dragonfly Doji, and I think it's this one. This Doji, I forgot what this one's called, but this is also indicating a change in direction in price to bearish. And this one's indicating to bullish. So I think, again, double check those. I'll have information out on that soon, but I'm going to retweet this right now so that if you're following the Twitter, which I hope you are, I know you are, go to ryanstocks.com, hit the 4th tile, and you can follow me on Twitter. And I just retweeted this out for you. So remember this candle here. We go back to Bitcoin. We're forming that candle right here. So if I kind of zoom in here, there you go. You got a nice body in the candle. You got a nice handle. Bullish. It's forming a bullish hammer. I call hammer candle. Bullish hammer candle. So I think that Bitcoin going into it will be bullish. You had the China FUD come in. China bans Bitcoin for the 1000th time. I tweeted, I'm getting real tired of this BS. Not that I'm getting tired of Bitcoin. I've been holding Bitcoin since 2017. I've been buying Bitcoin since 2017. Just I'm tired of people reacting negatively to the same news. It just gets boring. So that being said, let's go to any, and then we got to go to hot, and then we'll go to Mara. All 3 of the Bitcoin stocks everyone loves to ask about. Look, as I said, any is reliant on Bitcoin and it's reliant on volume. Any is a momentum stock. When volume is there, momentum is there, you got these big moves. Look at this. When volume is ramping up, you got these big moves. When volume is ramping down, you lose momentum, you lose this. So it really needs volume. It's a low float. It needs volume. It needs Bitcoin. And I think with Bitcoin in the coming days, we'll start ramping up. You'll see people moving into any as their kind of their Bitcoin play because Mara's gotten expensive, very expensive. Hut got expensive very quickly. Any is the next go-to that people go to. So it's kind of like these 3 different tiers of Bitcoin stocks that people play. Either they're playing Mara and Riot, which really no one really plays with Riot anymore because of how beat down it's been recently. So people play Mara, or they play Hut, or they play any, because that's kind of like the three tiers. And then under that, people play SOS, which I really don't like SOS too much because the price action with Bitcoin relation has been quite bad. Any, what I'm saying is, watch Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's doing well, any's going to do well. But credit to any, it's been really holding this 1550 support very, very nicely. Very nicely, which I was not expecting it to hold for this long, but it's holding it very nicely. If that 50-50 breaks, things can get ugly. Have I looked into Solana stocks? So I saw Andre Jick's video on Solana. It's a very, very, very interesting crypto and coin with really cool use cases. Mainly from what I saw, it was really the NFT space that it was there and kind of how it operates. Do I know of any Solana stocks? Don't know, but if you'd like, you can drop them in the chat and I can take a look at them. What do I think about VT Therapeutics? It had a positive result in volume increase. I'll come back to VT in 1 second. Let me do Hut and Mara as I promised, since we have Bitcoin's chart fresh in our mind. You see that very parallel candle. Again, we come to our candles. You see that most bearish. It's a bearish candle. Same thing on any. Why? Because Bitcoin was doing terrible on that day. Personally, I think Hut makes its way back up to the 9s this week. Bitcoin's coming back, so I think Hut makes its way back up to the 9s. And if we go to Mara, our other favorite Bitcoin stock, or my other favorite Bitcoin stock, same thing. It needs to break the 90 MA resistance, then break the 20 MA resistance, and then make its way back up. But again, it's held this 50 MA support for the longest time, essentially since this day right here, since July 26th. So that's very good. I hope that holds, and I think it does. Mara's been doing quite well relative to price action of Bitcoin, but again, once you have external factors, it really does negatively affect it, which is your external factor, which is your one-to-one is your Bitcoin. And then, of course, you have your overall stock market that affects Mara like everything else. If you remember SPY, we were looking at SPY, had a gap down. Mara had a gap down. Bitcoin had a gap. Bitcoin didn't have a gap down, but you get what I mean. It's affected by the S&P 500 as well. So VT Therapeutics, again, I'm not the person to talk to about biostocks. That's not my forte. I don't know much about them, but I'm going to take it on what you said here. Had a positive result, so congratulations. And volume increased on Friday. Yep. So again, volume came in, but unfortunately, if we go to something like let's go to I need like a 15-minute chart. Let's take a look at the 15-minute chart. Looks like your big price action really started the night before, which is really interesting. The night before at 4:45, it looks like you got your news then, ramped up, played. It did very well in pre-market on Friday. And then essentially it was kind of a slow bleed, a sell the news. We're done with this. And the sell-off happened. So personally, I think VT is done. I think you're going to open with probably a gap down. Would you be a gap down? What is it low? Yeah, you're probably going to open with a gap down somewhere around here, which is unfortunate. But that's how it is. Some of these news, it's a sell the news play. I'd stay away from this one personally. Russin, can we do plug? Sure, let's do plug. Plug is a very, very interesting play. I think these guys just double bottomed. Yes, they did. Take a look at that double bottom play. Very bullish. I think plug is going to do very well this week. Had the double bottom. It's making its ascend back up. If it can go past this neckline, which is right here, let me just draw it for you. There we go. All right. So if we can make it, so it had a breakout, but it was a bit of a false breakout. Unfortunately, wasn't enough volume on Friday to sustain that breakout. So now you're watching it. You want to see if this breakout, it can break out again, or if it's going to come down and do a triple bottom. I'd like to see it break out again. Again, I'm not holding any of this, so I have no dog in this fight. I don't want to see any dogs fighting, but I think that it could. Again, it had a little. Is there a gap? No gap at all. The wicks touch. I think it needs volume. That's the big thing. You see the volume was there for most of the week, and it was kind of chugging its way back up. Then volume on Friday sold. Sellers were in control, and you saw the drop. So I think volume comes in. I don't see an issue with plug making its way back up to break out. But again, you need volume or you need news, and with news comes volume. So it's essentially all about volume. Any thoughts on Facebook? Facebook has been going through a lot of bad news right now. It's been getting beat up. I still believe Facebook's going to be fine in the long term. But if you look here, it's kind of went to its low of 340, which is interesting because that's kind of the area where it bounced last time too. Went a little lower, but That's where it did. But Facebook got beat up, and I think it's going to take a little bit of time to go up. But it had a very good day on Friday. 2% move on a 2.37 billion float stock is fantastic. So I'm not worried about Facebook at all. I think Facebook's going to do well. But if I were to play options on Facebook, which I imagine, you're playing options on Facebook, I would go to something like November 19th. I'd go to the November 19th. I'd either go in the money, which is, as you can see, quite expensive. Or if you're going to go out the money, well, and the money's here. It's even more expensive. This one's a harder one. This one's harder to play options on because you sustained your support, right? This is what I always say. When you have a gap down event, you want to build your support before you enter your next position. Now, the question becomes, do you do short bursts or do you go for leaps on your options? And I think with this one, just taking into the average retail investor and how they buy and sell options, I would do short bursts, right? I'd go for the 15 to give myself enough leeway in time, right? Because you're purchasing time. And I'd go for like either 350s, which has decent open interest, or I would go for my, hold on, those are puts, excuse me, let me flip to calls, because I'm going to do calls, not puts. I get confused, apologies. So I'd either you'd go in the money with the 350s, because I know some people like to play in the monies, or I'd go with the 360s, which has good open interest. Or if you want to get a little gutsy, this gets a little bit riskier. You're really out the money here. Your delta, as you can see, is quite low. Not very low, but quite low. As you can see here, like 26 here, and then 40 here. Personally, I'd go with the 360s. That's what I would do if I was going to play options on. But if you're going to swing shares, DCA into it, I think this is a fantastic stock long term. And before we know it, it'll be back to 384, the 380s very, very soon into Q4. I don't doubt it for one bit. LICY, you got it, Michael? LICY. Life Cycle Holdings Corp. SPAC. Okay, nice rounding bottom here, but it looks like, okay, so this is a SPAC that clearly de-SPACed and is now making their way back up. I'm just going to quickly check to see if they have their S1 filed yet, because a lot of these SPACs, I think this one probably went through its S1 filing and went into effect. It's kind of the secondary offering that happens. Okay, so these guys are LSU1, so these guys are international, so then it wouldn't be an S1, it'd be an F1. Let's see. Okay, unless these guys so based off the chart, I'd imagine the de-SPAC was somewhere in August. Looks like they haven't filed anything yet. Notice of effectiveness. Let's see, what's this one? This is an F4, which is really an S4, which is kind of their merger. So no, they haven't filed it yet. So okay, so you have time. So it's ramping up. What does Lisi do? Okay, so they got a 15 price target. Life cycle, which is Peridot, I believe it was, right? Peridot Acquisition Company, PDOT, I think was the SPAC. These guys are the battery recyclers, right? Yeah, they are. There it is. All right. Very interesting company, based off of the little knowledge that I had on them, and just the thought. This is a company that's going to be needed. This is a 2025 play, right? This is a 2025 play. This is a stock that I would be watching for when it comes back down to the 7s, to the 6s, and you need, because right now there's not enough EVs on the market for you to be kind of recycling batteries. Personally, it's really been Tesla all these years. GM's just come in, Ford's just come in. You got Lucid coming in. These are all going to be new batteries that hopefully aren't going to need to be recycled. But I think in 2025, as our volume of cars are going up, we're going to be using more cars, and more cars are going to be replaced. We really don't know the life cycle of how long these batteries are really going to be there. But I think eventually this will become a play that will be needed, right? This will become a play that will be used heavily in the markets. So again, 2025 play for me. Short term, you've got a rounding bottom here. You could keep going. You're not a low volume. You're not a low float. But really, look, you're into overbought territory already, and it's flattening out and hitting resistance. I could see this kind of cooling off and coming down. It's also above the Bollinger Band. It looks like you got a bit of a hype movement here, and it will slowly start to cool down. I could be totally wrong, but personally, I would not enter this on calls. I don't know if does this have options. It does. Personally, I'd look at puts on this one. My IV is off because I'm not logged in on this computer. But if IV is high, I wouldn't touch it at all. But if IV is normal, like in the 30s, 40s, even 50s, I'd play puts on this one. I'd buy some $10 puts on this call for October 15th. That's what I would do with this one personally. That's how I would play it. Now, my Halo, we did open already. Thank you, World Travel Magazine. Let me plug the Patreon real quick while we got the Patreon plugged. Patreon.com/trading together. You can sign up. We've got access to courses that comes to you for free. Weekly and daily watch list now for options, stocks, long-term stocks, penny stocks. Options are now swings. We also have scalps. It's all done through a Discord as well with a fantastic admin team. It's a fantastic trading community there that people are coming in learning so much. Lives are really, truly being changed. Most recent fantastic option play that we did. We had 1,000% runner on a Lucid call that I threw in there very early. I saw Lucid's chart ramping up, so we played that. So this is there. If you'd like to sign up, I think there's maybe one slot left. Yeah, you got one Tesla slot open. If you'd like to sign up, you're more than welcome to take it. The month is coming to an end, so I'll tell you this. Whoever takes this slot, I will refund you for this month, and then next month you will be charged. If you stay for next month, then I will refund you for this month. So technically, you'll get the rest of this month free, and then you'll be coming into us early, so you won't be charged for August and September. So that's kind of my offer to you. The Google tier is there, but I'm probably going to remove this slot. I don't really have time to meet with people as much. Unless you really want to do it, then we can figure something out. But this is really got one slot left. If you like it, come and take it, and we can party and jam out. Also, follow me on Twitter. Post a lot of stuff like this on Twitter, and you can kind of get access to all this cool stuff. And I post charts there too. Thank you, World Travel Magazine, for helping me initiate that plug. We got a massive, massive comments came in. Okay, Zeta. All right, so I'm gonna have to be jumping around now, since we got actually a ton of comments coming in. Why is my keyboard? Okay, I'm hitting cap locks and thinking it's the A key, and it's not working out. All right, Zeta's in a downtrend. Zeta Global Holdings. Is this a SPAC? Is this a SPAC or was this? It looks like Zeta Global Holdings. Okay, no, it's not a SPAC. It's a recent IPO. It looks like a DIPO, direct IPO, with the sell-off that happened. Unless it's an IPO, but I don't know. I don't know this company at all. Looks like in a clear downtrend, has support around the $5.90 area, $5.91 area. Then you have support down here in the 527s. This isn't a clean downtrend, right? Clean downtrend. If this support breaks, it's going to come back down to the low fives, right? There's not much support. If you look here, not much support. It's going to come clean down to the 550s. If that 550 holds, you're very lucky. If not, it's going to come down to the low fives. So be very careful there. Jeff says Amble battery recycler looks interesting in the 130. So let's see another battery recycle, AMBL. Again, I'd say the same exact thing about Amble that I said about the previous one. I'm sorry, ABML. 2025 place. If you can get them for cheap down here, Jeff is one of our Patreon members, actually. I think we talked about this in one of our one-on-one sessions as well. It's been in a clean downtrend. This is one that in the $1 area, I would start accumulating for 2025. It's an OTC, but again, there's very few use cases from my understanding on battery recycling right now. So that's my 2 cents on that one. But yeah, I definitely say in the 130s, ones, even better in the 120s, 130s. I definitely start dollar cost averaging, and you got that spot on. Here it's too high. Here it's too expensive in my opinion. This is an OTC stock, by the way, folks. So just a heads up. What do I think about Sundial? I got 2 people asking about Sundial. Sundial, let's go. Cannabis stocks are not the hottest thing right now. I don't think we're going to hear much about cannabis this year. Cannabis will probably be a 2022 thing. Same thing with gambling will be a 2022 thing. Everyone thought it'd be a 2021 thing, but the government's been busy. So the cannabis hasn't been a go-to. I'd stay away from this one personally. This is Sundial's been getting destroyed. I don't know if they're going to probably have to do a reverse split now. The last time I played Sundial was early this year. And then one time I remember I was in Costco because I have SEC filing notifications turned on, and they said that they're going to have to do a reverse split before the end of the year if the stock doesn't go above $1 for 30 consecutive days, or else you get delisted. That's just NASDAQ's rules. They're going to have to do a reverse split at some point. So I would not get into this play at all. I would stay away from Sundial as much as possible. Yeah, they do dilute a lot. Bulldog spot on. They just diluted. If you take a look at their financials, right? Let's take a look at their balance sheet. You got close to $1 billion in cash the last time they reported, but they're not doing anything with it. There's no movement. Clearly, and cannabis is not an easy sector. I think these guys are out of Canada, so they won't even really be affected by U.S. So they shouldn't even be using the U.S. cannabis as illegal as a crutch. They're just not performing as a company in order for the stock to go up. So I don't. It's a Canadian cannabis company, so I wouldn't even bother with it personally. My pleasure, Halo. SoFi. Let's talk about SoFi. One of my favorite stocks on the stock market. I would not buy it up here. Long story short, I would not buy it up here. SoFi is going to cool off. SoFi has gone to the 1780 area. SoFi will begin to cool off, I believe. SoFi does have a little bit of juice left in it, so we could see it go to the 19s, 17, 8, so the 18, 19s. But again, you have to. This thing has to. This thing's volume has been kind of decaying, right? So I'd watch it tomorrow, but I would not buy shares up here. I would not buy shares. I would sell calls up here, but I would not buy shares. The gap fill play did fantastic. We played it in the Patreon, $15 calls. We also did comments. I also sold puts on it when it came down here, which banked me a ton of money. Sold puts again down here, banked me a ton of money. Those are just strategies that we use in the Patreon to kind of print cash. But there you go. So if I did well, but no, I wouldn't buy it up here. It's a little too generous right now, especially with their student loan thing being on hold till 2021. With the whole loan freezes for schools, I wouldn't buy it up here. Folks, hit that like button for me. There's a bunch of you watching. There's only 55 likes and 1 dislike. Thank you for the dislike, whoever you were. Really made my day. Hit that like button for me. I appreciate it. DMYI. I think Larry also asked for this one. DMYI. Okay, SPAC. No, it's too high. It's too high. Okay, I don't know if these guys merged. I don't know what happened. I don't know why they popped. No news of a merger. I know these guys had an interview recently. Too high, personally. SPACs, we've seen them before. They all de-SPAC. They all come down. They all cool off. They have S1 filings, warrants. You get tons of opportunities to buy again. Too high, in my opinion. I'd wait. Simply put, patience pays. I've seen it many times with SPACs. Patience pays. What's up, Dennis? What's a good buy zone for Tesla? Great question. Tesla. Tesla is interesting because Tesla is breaking out. Tesla has a gap on the chart. I'll show you guys in a second. I posted this infographic, and again, of course, I was 1 week off. Well, I wasn't off, but look, if you look here, there's a gap into where'd it go? Hold on. My eyes are playing games on me again. There you go. There you are. Tiny little gap. You have a little gap in the chart right here. I think that gap fills this week. Tesla is one of those stocks that I only buy when it's red. I don't like buying it. Again, up here, it's a little bit generous. Right now, why Tesla is running so hard, why Tesla is moving so much is people are anticipating a $12,000 EV credit from the infrastructure bill, which is presumed to pass. So that's why Tesla's really moving. Tesla is one of those stocks that say dollar cost average into. I wouldn't time it. Every time I've seen tried to time Tesla, they've missed out, or they've bought too high. But if you dollar cost average into Tesla, that's kind of really your best bet. I'd say like Tesla down here a few days ago was pretty good, close to the 700s. Tesla's great, close to the 600s, 500s. The cheaper, the better that you can get Tesla. But the thing that I found is honestly, Dennis, dollar cost averaging into this one, especially if it's a long-term play, is your best bet. But right now, after Friday was a massive day for Tesla. Even the whole overall markets weren't so hot, but Tesla had a really good day on Friday. Say wait for it to cool off a bit. My pleasure, Alexander. Heavy call buying on SoFi last week. Yeah, last quarter is huge for Bitcoin. I hope so. SKYT, Skynet. What? Skywater Technologies. Was this a SPAC too? No, it looks like a brand new IPO. What do these guys do? No, it was a SPAC. Look at that. Formerly CMYI. I'm hearing something. Oh, I've got the YouTube feed going, and it was just playing out of my headphones, and I just realized I'm hearing myself, or I'm not sure what's going on. Okay, so ran up to the 36s, which is very interesting. And now it's kind of cooling off and slowly starting to bounce up. It's holding this 90 MA support here at 29. If that breaks, it'll come back down and retest the 26s. This is a very low float. It's a micro float stock. So you're going to be playing with volatility the whole time you're holding this. So really, with this one, semiconductors, fantastic. I love that. You guys know I love semis. We started the whole conversation on the beginning of the stream on semis. But again, if this breaks and this breaks, you're going to come and fill this gap down and then make your way back up again. But if you see this gap here filled and gap down, this gap here will probably fill due to the micro float nature of the stock. Any thoughts on Facebook? So, Gabriella, we did discuss Facebook a little bit earlier. I love Facebook long term. I think this is a small hiccup for Facebook. I would play it very slowly, very carefully, because options on Facebook are quite expensive. But I think I think it was the October 15 360 calls is what I would take on them. What's my take on Argo blockchain? They're too small, in my opinion. They're not big enough as a crypto miner to really survive into the next coming years. I don't know what that means. What about Tron? I don't know Tron too well to discuss it. I apologize. Can you please take a? Can you please watch at VRTX? Guess it has lost its support. So let's take a look at VRTX. VRTX. Again, another bio stock. You guys love these bio stocks, huh? Ooh, what happened here? Look at this. This is all gap downs. What happened? Looks like bad news, and then probably again bad news, and then more just dying off. I think was VRTX like the $2 last year? Was this that stock that was $2 and just ran up? Yeah, see? No, this isn't that one. I apologize. There's one stock that just went like $300 one day. It was a penny stock that just ran up. I don't even know what to say about this one. Let's try to chart it. We're gonna have to go to like a weekly chart to understand this one, because it's come down so hard. If you look here, you got a rounding top here, which is bearish. Usually it comes down and then either bounces up or bounces down. Usually I've seen it to be bearish based on my experience. You're at support. If you look here, you have some support established here previously. You're at support, but if this breaks, it gets uglier, and you come down to the 160s. You see that? There's too much support on this one. I'd stay away from it. All right, so I'm gonna have to jump around because there's a lot of questions coming in. Thoughts on ELYS? Sure, one of my favorites. ELYS, one of my favorite penny stock swings into the new year. Daily chart, please. Okay. So clearly had a big pop up. So let me delete these fibs. They are no longer valid as far as I'm concerned. And we could draw fresh ones. Let's do fresh Fibonacci's. Let's bring fibs. So here you had clearly a very, very good day. Massive momentum and hype came in. You have your $5 support here on ELYS. ELYS really runs parallel with another stock that I'm a big fan of, CRSR, Corsair Gaming, another gaming stock. One, Corsair is doing good. ELYS is doing good. So look at that. Look at this one. Look at the overall gaming sector. Activision, Blizzard. I don't think Blizzard's publicly traded, but Activision is. Unity's publicly traded. So I think that this is established very good support. If you look at it here on the, let me delete the fibs. 50 MA is your support line. Keep an eye on that one. If it holds, which it has been holding for a bit, it's a good one to scale into. I like scaling into this one under 5. I would say 5 and under is fantastic to scale into this one. And of course, I was doing much better and had much better support until the markets took a dump and penny stocks really get hit the hardest. Isn't this government chips? I don't know which stock you're talking about. Can't post comments in some destinations. That's fine. Okay, I'm long on Pinterest. I want to average down. Should I wait? Pinterest is still down from its real big disastrous earnings. I wouldn't touch pins. Look at that. It's still trying to establish support and just keeps breaking. I'd stay away from pins for now. I wouldn't be afraid to pay a little bit more for it later on when it actually establishes a support. But right now it's in really ugly territory. Everyone's like, we're going to wait for pins is going to fill the gap and then go back up. But there's really no reason for it to fill the gap. There's nothing coming in to help it. Okay, Lucid. Someone's asking for Lucid and QS. I hope you guys are hitting that like button. 69 likes. There's 97 and there's only 69 likes. Come on, let's get it up there. Let's see, Lucid, LCID. Lucid's been having a great time, but it's cooling off. Let it cool off. 90 MA is really what I'm watching Lucid's support. That's where it is. Look, as I've said before, you've seen it in practice. Once you break out of the top Bollinger Band, you're followed by a red day almost all the time. Now it's cooling off a bit. Volume's decaying a bit. Look, it's generous price for it. Now, I own shares of Lucid, full disclosure, since the past 2 weeks since we streamed. I did open a position in Lucid around, I think, the $19 area or the $20 area. A very, very small position. Just kind of get my feet wet because I saw this momentum coming in and I jumped in and I want to be a part of it. So with Lucid, this is one that I'd really stick to options more than anything. And I think Lucid's going to come down to the 90 EMA, which is around 23, 23.82. It'll probably come around there and then either jump up and continue going up or kind of crescendo down and come to the 50 EMA around 22. Personally, I don't know yet. I'll have to see Monday's price action, and then I would definitely play off the action here for Monday. That's kind of how I would play it. I would watch for Monday. QS, I hate that stock. It's complete garbaggio, but I'll give you the benefit of that. Look, not a good candle. Look at that. You're above. It's going to come down on Monday. And it should. Look, you broke above on momentum. One of those momentum plays, they have nothing. They don't have a product. Here, I'll show you the candles again. Look at this. What do you see here? What do you see here? It's a very bearish candle. So I actually look to play puts on this one. Let's play some puts. Maybe we can make some money on the way down. Puts. 27. So I play the 26s. 26 and 25 both have good open interest. So does it the 22.50. So depending on your person, I mean, I'd go with the 25s. And this is not a lower flow, but it moves. So I'd either play the 26 or 25 puts on this one, or if you don't want to play, I know some people like to play cheaper puts. I'd go with this one, the 50, 22.50, excuse me, and I'd play this put. But don't play these that are like lower interest, lower open interest. You're not going to have someone to sell them to. No one's going to buy them from you. Happy World Travel. I'll hit the like button. Thank you so much, World Travel Magazine, for your support and your kind message. It means the world. Thank you so much. Mr. Singh, we already did any earlier in the show. Scrub forward, and you could definitely catch that and discuss it. This week I said Lucid delivers the first car. I don't know. I hope so. That'd be really cool if Lucid delivers their first car this week. I think it's a little bit early, but we'll see. Palantir, one of my favorite stocks. Palantir. Let's talk about it. Palantir had a meteoric rise to 29, double topped here, so it's going to come down. Look, you got a double top. It's going to come down. I'm bearish on it right now. Kathy Wood sold over 1 million shares. I told my Patreon members to buy some puts on Friday at open. I said, buy some puts. It's probably going to do well. Puts started to do well here. They're coming down. They're coming down. Puts are doing well here. They're coming down. In the money did much better because the interest was much higher. If you see here, in the money did well. But what's weird is, so one thing I do want to point out here is you'll see some lower open interest plays do much higher results. That's because there's no one to sell them to. It's pure supply and demand. Don't fool yourself with those. Don't fool yourself with those. So I'd look to play the $28 puts here. Actually, let me see what's the open interest on the October. Weeklies, I don't like playing. They're too risky. I don't like them. Open interest here is not that bad, and they're relatively affordable. I'd go with these, the $28 puts. You're probably going to see more open interest flying to here, kind of help adjust the movement and price action here. So I'd probably go with the $28 October 8s, or realistically, I don't really like that. I'd go a little bit longer. And again, I'd watch tomorrow before you do anything. I'd probably go with the $28 puts for October 15th. Personally, yeah, that's what I would do. All right, that's Palantir. All right, let me get some from the Twitter. We got a few coming in at Twitter. Got a few folks were asking about. Okay, it looks like a lot of the similar ones. Pinterest. SoFi, which we did. Someone just gave me like 18 tickers. Like, are you kidding me? I said one ticker. Let's do skills. Someone was asking for skills. Let's do skills. That's one that we can kind of parallel with the course here that we discussed. Skills got decimated. Skills used to be a $40 stock. Look at this. $46. Destroyed. Decimated. Kaput. I wouldn't touch it. There's just too much stigma around it, too much negativity around skills. I personally wouldn't touch it. I'd stay away from skills. All right, let's see what we got. Palantir's an uptrend. Why buying puts now? The reason, okay, let me explain that again. Palantir isn't an uptrend, but you double topped here. So double top is bearish. It's a bearish pattern. Double top, you broke out above, you came down, you hit up again, came down. Double top is bearish. That's the main reason I would play puts on this. Also, Kathy Wood sold 1.5 million shares. Last time Kathy Wood sold shares of Palantir was when we hit our high up here. And look, clearly what happened was it came down really hard. Now, does Kathy Wood control the float of this stock like that hard? No. It's just that market sentiment moves these kind of things, and a lot of people follow Kathy Wood's market sentiment, and some people go against it. Clearly, according to Friday's price action, when we got the email on Thursday, people are following the same sentiment that Kathy Wood dumped 1.5 million shares. It was more than that. It was close to 2 million, I think. Almost 2 million shares. That it's time to no, Kathy Wood sold a lot of shares. Let me see if I can find the email. Give me 1 second. Palantir. Okay, you got to give me 1 second. How do I do this without blowing up my email? All right, it's not. Hold on. There's an account that does this. Arc. Recent. Let's see if this will help. Oh, looks like someone did it for me. Shout out to them. Here it is. There you go. Palantir shares sold 1.46 million shares. They sold a ton of shares. That's a lot of shares. And that's just ARK. Another one of their funds also sold 375,000 shares for ARKW. Look, I'm long on Palantir. It's one of my largest positions and holdings. Believe me, I'd love it to go to $80, $90 a share. I'm not an idiot. I know where the stock is and what it does and where it's going. Short term, I like to make money on price action up and down, and I see this coming down and cooling off. I see this coming down to this area. If it breaks the 90 MA, it comes down to the 20 MA, which is right at this kind of this $26 area, the 26.50. So if it comes down that low, my puts will print. So we'll see. Yeah, 1.8 million shares sold. So we'll definitely have to see. Yeah, they retained a ton of their allocation. Don't get me wrong, Seth. You're 100% right. They retained a ton of their shares. But they did sell a lot of shares as well, relatively to that, right? Hit that like button, folks. We are 20 away from 100. Make it happen. And I'll keep going. We'll make it happen. I'll keep going. Kathy Wood has 34 million shares of Palantir. She sold 1. No, I get it, dude. No, I totally get it. Look, Seth, I'm with you. I get it. Sold a bit. But I'm basing it off of the previous price action. And we're talking about going down $2. We're not talking about going down $40. I'm just basing it off of that. Oh, change like to a dislike. I'm joking. Okay, that's hilarious. I don't negotiate. But for this one, I'll do it for you. AEHR. This is a bio stock. I'm going to be quite pissed. Okay, so let's say previously someone had me charted for them, and it's done very well since the last time we charted it. It's doubled. So what do these guys do? Semiconductors. Come on. What have we been saying this whole show? Semiconductors are going to be hot into the Q4, into 2022, into 2023, into the future. Semiconductors are going to generate generational wealth, in my opinion. That's just how it is. Semiconductors, mineral plays, that's the way to go. Now, that being said, you are in a bit of an expensive position with this stock. It's a low float. It ran on momentum. It gapped up. I do see this coming back down to earth a little bit. If it doesn't sustain this, it'll probably come back down to the 12 area, which I would say, hey, watch it, see if it makes sense, if the momentum's still there, and then replay it again, in my opinion, from 12 to 16 or 15 again, if momentum is there. Okay? Costco had great earnings on Thursday or Friday, I believe. Yeah, I think Costco's earnings were Thursday. Costco had good earnings, man. I told people, I said Costco's going to do well. Those hot dogs sell, and Costco always does well. Costco's not one you want to bet against. Take a look at this. Step foot into a Costco and tell me they're going to have bad earnings. That's kind of how I see it. Costco is going to do very well into the future. Easy $500 stock. Not a single doubt about it. They had good earnings. I think this will continue. The momentum will continue to go. It's setting up for a move up again. Look, MACD's curling. RSI is probably going to go up. It'll probably retest the 369 on Monday in pre-market and probably make an all-time high into the future. I don't see why not. Buying Palantir puts, but I was trying. I'd like to do it by the way. Appreciate you, Sad. I'm glad we can have these kind of conversations, because some people, you have conversations with them about a stock going up and down, even after I tell them like, hey, you've got a massive position in this stock. I want it to go up, I prefer it to go up, but it's still like, if I see an analysis on the chart and I see something that tells me, hey, I can make money on the way down, that I'll buy shares into later. Some people understand it, like, I'm glad you did that. Some people get angry. So I appreciate you allowing me to have the conversation with you about this. It means a lot. Can we check AMC if you don't mind? I've been invested in this stock. Sure. Let's talk about AMC. AMC, the stock of 2021 that just does not want to go anywhere. So it held the 40. Okay, so the Fibonacci levels that we drew a long time ago are still relative, which is good. Still in it. Okay, this is a little bit odd. So I'm going to, you know what I'm going to do? So that way I don't go a little bit stir crazy. I'm going to redraw these fibs because they're a little old. So I'm going to go from 28 to 52. And I think AMC is doing everything in their power to stay relative. With the CEO saying, hey, we're going to accept crypto. Do you want us to accept Doge? Do you want us to accept Litecoin? Do you want us to accept ABCD? They're doing their best to stay relative and keep the stock price up. Very smart guy, Adam Ayer. But the chart says everything. The stock has momentum. It's a momentum stock. When volume comes in, it pumps. When volume decays, it cools off. But you're still holding support here at the $38 level, which is very good. You've held that support. It was tested here. It was tested here. It's doing very, very well. It's all about volume. Watch it until Monday. Friday had essentially a flat day. Everyone was talking about having an inverse beta with the S&P 500. When it came down to it, it didn't have that inverse beta, which most of us expected, right? But I think if it can break 40, then it can kind of come here and fill this gap and make its way back to 43, and then it needs momentum to keep going. So this is one of those, again, news. With news comes volume usually, unless it's sell the news, which usually AMC isn't. AMC is buy the news. Then it kind of ramps up and it kind of keeps going and doing its thing. So that's what I would say with AMC is just follow the momentum, follow the volume, and if it gets ugly, don't be afraid to cut it. I appreciate you, Jeff. You're the man. What are my thoughts on SoFi? We discussed SoFi, trader. Love SoFi long term, but I would not pay over $15 a share right now for it. For sure. My pleasure, blind trader. My pleasure. Sava. A few people are asking for Sava. Sava is again a bio play. Which you guys are killing me with the bio plays. I'm just kidding. Sava had bad news, and with bad news came a decay, and now it's slowly going up. Sava is a low float momentum play, which is interesting to see that, especially in this sector. Momentum bio play. And which one? Double check. Yep, bio play. Look, I don't know much about them. I don't know anything about them. No worries, bro. No worries, man. People come in and out of the chat at different times. It's all good. Snook says that Sava is a future mooner. It could. If Sava gets good news, I don't see why this wouldn't jump up. But again, you don't want to depend on good news because it looks like it's just been stair stepping. It goes up and then it comes back down, stair steps down. So it's established support here at 39, and now it's in the 60s, which is insane. But I'd keep an eye on it. Not a very bullish candle here on Friday, as we discussed. I'm going to bring up the infographic one more time so you can see. Least bullish candle. Not great candle, but hey, it did its thing, right? So we can see that Sava's having a hard time. So where are we at with the light counter? We're at 84. Can we get to 85? Can we get one more? Give me to 85. And then we can, I'm going to wind this down in a little bit. So I'm going to ask you guys to do me one favor. One favor, and I'll keep going. If you guys can do this for me, I'll keep going. All right? Okay. I'm definitely going to have to do this stock Ronnie asked for, but YouTube. I've got my YouTube channel. I'm dropping a new video on Mara price target this week. And I'm also doing a video on how to get $300 off your iPhone 13 mini, Pro Max, regular 13 without a trade-in. So that's coming to the channel this week as well. We've got a lot of stuff coming. So if you go to ryanstocks.com, link in the description. Ryanstocks.com. Let me see if I can create a banner for it here. How do you do banners here? After hours, AH. Let me just do that. They're going to kill me for that one. but let me see if I can create the band really quickly. Stocks.com. There you go. If you guys go to ryanstocks.com, go to my YouTube channel, and once you click on that first tile, hit subscribe for me. I am, I think, 7 away from 4,500 subscribers. That'd mean a lot if you guys could do that. There's a lot of valuable content on there. My CPI video was spot on. Exactly what I said would happen with CPI happened. Came down lower. I do it monthly for that. I do a ton of crypto stocks. I do regular stock videos. I'm going into financial videos now very soon. I just posted a video. I'm going to show you really quickly. I posted a video yesterday about how to get an 8.05 return DeFi savings account. Very easy, very simple way of doing it to get 8.05% return. I did it. I ran an experiment with it. It went very well for me. So I'd say definitely, if you guys want to watch this is a very good one to kind of start it off with. We've got a ton of your favorite stocks that I talk about here. So if you guys subscribe there, it would mean a lot. Where'd the comment go? Ronnie asked for taco. Ronnie Clark asked for taco. Let's do taco. Del Taco. Same Del Taco. It is. Oh, cool. I don't know these guys were even IPO'd. Okay, it looks like the taco industry has been doing pretty bad. You think the taco industry would be doing fantastic, but it looks like since COVID ramped up to $12 was their max. Hey, 2 to 12 is not bad, right? Came down to 8. You got a bit of a rounding top here. Take a look at this. Remember I said rounding top could be bearish or it can jump. And it looks here like the rounding top jumped. So it went. So I think taco keeps going. I think I'm bullish on taco. Not a fantastic candle, of course. But hey, sometimes you can't pay attention to just one aspect of it. I think in this case, taco keeps moving, chugging along. As long as volume comes in on Monday, it can keep going. If not, it will come back down and retest the mid to low 8s. Moving there. So yeah, folks, do me a solid. Subscribe to that YouTube channel. I'm going to have a bunch of stuff coming out for you guys there. And again, the Patreon is there if you guys would like to sign up, learn how to do this kind of technical analysis for yourself. There's a course available if you guys want to do that. If the Patreon is sold out at any point, you can shoot me a DM and I can see if I can add a slot for you. I can't promise that. So just keep that in mind. Let's see if we can do a few more. Aaron, thank you so much. You're amazing. Awesome. Thank you, World Travel Magazine. My pleasure. I'm glad you liked it. No worries, Ronnie. Buy some tacos with that Del Taco money. Hey, Ryan. So you have Bollinger Bands 9 EMA, 50 EMA. What's your theory behind it? You don't think EMAs 15, 65, and 200 matter? Don't matter? Help? This is my setup, Sydney. This is a setup that I found that works best for me. I like to use Bollinger Bands, the 50 EMA, and the 9 EMA. It gives me both the medium term, the short term, and my exponential. I bring in a dose of exponential into here. This is kind of how I play it. Again, if I'm day trading and stuff like that, I throw in the VWAP into there. I got it turned off here because we're looking at the daily trade. VWAP is another one that I throw into there as well. It's just my setup. I've never used the 15 EMA. I've never used a 65 or 200. Another one that I do bring into this equation is a 200 MA. I think once you go above the short-term 9 EMA, I prefer to have a non-biased moving average because EMAs take into account recent price action more heavily. It's weighted more heavily. But like with MAs, I prefer, like with my longer-term ranges, my 50 and my 200, I prefer to have unbiased so I can kind of not be swayed by recent price action. So I can show you, for example, a comparison. So if we go to Tesla, if you look here, Tesla Golden Cross, which is awesome, and it's kind of been chugging up, and your 200 moving average is relatively showing you the same thing. So is your 50 moving average, both doing very, very, very well. Now, if we bring in a 200 moving average into the 200 EMA, so I'm going to change this to, I'll change it to light, change it to dark green. That way it can make a little bit more sense, and change this to 200. Same pattern, right? Same direction, same everything. It's just a lot lower because of it's taking recent price action more into account. Personally, this is just the setup I like to use. I stick with the Bollinger Bands, the 9 EMA, the 50 EMA, and then I bring in 200 if I need it. But if not, I just leave it alone. That's how I operate. That's my personal preferences. Some people like using other setups. That's how they go. My pleasure, Snook. Do you analyze penny stocks? Yeah. Like Eyeless, it's a future up and comer, in my opinion. I don't know anything about Eyeless, but we could definitely take a look. But let me take a look at I think it's Baruch. I don't know how to say it. FLGC. With a lot of emojis. FLGC. This is probably a cannabis company, I imagine. No. Healthcare. Another healthcare company. No, this has to be cannabis. This doesn't make sense. Cultivates. Yes, there we go. See, cannabis. Okay, so it IPO'd or whatever, de-IPO'd, or it definitely didn't SPAC. Let's see. Can we get there? Seeking Alpha IPO. There is an indicating a $5 IPO. That's like IPO. So it's a regular IPO. It's a regular IPO, traded flat sideways, and out of nowhere just ramped up to $21 in August, and it's kind of been cooling off here. Very similar chart to AMD, which is kind of funny. But you're essentially sitting at support. You're playing with the devil here. So it did very good on Friday. Momentum came in, ran 33%. Fantastic. See if momentum continues on Monday. But if you look, this thing only moves on momentum. Other than that, it's not worth much. It's just red. I wait for momentum. Let's do options. No. I wouldn't even play options on a penny like this. It's too risky. You have 20 MA resistance here, which has been resistance for a while. I wouldn't play FLGC personally. Not for me. Especially after a 33, 34% ramp up. Not one for I would play. Let's take a look at ILUS. ILUS. Why do you think it's an up and comer? Really curious. OTC stock. Okay. All right. Cash Elite. What do they do? Current businesses, technology, manufacturing companies, businesses include eRaptor, Face FB Technologies, Firebug, which is a heavy workload. I guess they're in the industrials. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. So it looks like, remember we discussed it broke out of the Bollinger Band, came down. 90 EMA supports are very strong here, as you can see. Let me turn off the 200. We don't need it right now. Most of these stocks we don't need the 200 for. Thankfully, sometimes people bring me some penny stocks, and I'm like, all right, let's find the 200 MA and let's see if it's got support there. And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I wouldn't be surprised if this retests the 90 MA on Monday. If you look at your RSI, you're in overbought territory for a long time. You can stay in overbought for millions of years, right? There's no time frame that you have to stay in overbought. But I think it cools off a bit to the 90 MA again, and then it either bounces or it breaks and comes down lower. But again, use your supports very, very carefully. Play this one. I think this cools off. I wouldn't buy this one just yet. So, they're mainly in fire suppression. BBIG. BBIG is a momentum play. If there's volume, it does good. If there's no volume, it does crap. That's just kind of how BBIG works. The pumpers love this one. It broke support. I'd stay away from this one, Bill. Stay away from this one. Not a good one in my opinion. Gold options, calls, puts. Gold options, calls, and puts. Okay. GLD, I imagine you're discussing. This one's in a downtrend. This one's hard to play options on because gold doesn't move much, and if it does, it moves heavy, or it doesn't move at all. Take a look at these gaps. I maybe play leaps on this one if you want to go to like 2022, but even then, I'm not the person to ask about gold. I don't know anything about the gold markets. I stay away from them. If you want Bitcoin, we can talk Bitcoin, but gold, raw gold, I'm garbage at. Let's see where we are with the like counter. We're 9 away from 100 likes. Can we get there to 100 likes, folks? Can you guys get me to 100 likes? That would mean a lot. Let's make it happen. First stream back after 2 weeks. We get it to 100 likes. Show the Zinger Nation we still got juice. We still got power. We still have fun. Can we make it happen? Can we make it happen? Oh, and you guys got me to 4,500 subscribers. Thank you so much. If you guys want to keep that train going, you can go to ryanstocks.com, hit the first tile, and we can get to many, many more subscribers on my channel. My plan is starting next week, I'm going to do this stream from 6 to 7. And then I'm going to bring on a panel of 4 people, myself, 3 other very good traders, very knowledgeable traders, that we're going to be doing a podcast together, the Trading Together podcast. So we're going to have a lot of fun doing that. That's kind of how, but that's going to happen on my YouTube channel. So if you subscribe there, it's going to be a great time. We're going to have a lot of fun, and then you can flow and jump with us. They're kind of have like a back-to-back kind of thing, like back in the day when you'd watch your cartoons, it'd be like, I don't know, you'd be watching Batman animated series, and then right after it'd be another Superman animated series. You can get 2 things back to back. Thank you, Sydney. Appreciate you. All right. Can we get to 100 likes? We're 6 away from 100 likes. Guys, let's get there. Let's make it happen. 6 away. There's 93 of you watching. I'll keep doing stocks. You keep hitting the like button. All right? You guys keep hitting the like button. I'm going to scroll up and find a stock maybe that I missed. Let's do DraftKings. Sophie says DraftKings. Let's do DraftKings. GKNG. I hope you guys are still here. If you guys are still here, let me know. Because I know sometimes people drop a question and they get impatient and they leave. So stick around. I'm going to get to your stock. DraftKings clearly in a downtrend. I told the team we're playing puts on this. I put puts on the weekly watch list. The puts should be printing heavy. Puts are printing heavies. It's in the 50s essentially now. I don't know why it took a massive. DraftKings took a massive dive. Another big thing that happened with them negatively was okay. So if you're still here, cool. Another thing that happened negatively by DraftKings was they kind of got exposed by Penn in Portnoy. Someone got an email from Penn saying, "Hey, we saw you on the Penn leader." Someone from DraftKings emailed someone at Penn and said, "Hey, we saw you on the Penn leaderboards. We'd like you to come on over to DraftKings and use DraftKings." So it made them look a little weak. So I think that caused a bit of a negative. That caused a bit of a negative kind of downturn for them. It didn't look good. Really, clearly didn't look. It's marketing. It's business. You poach each other's clients. That's just how it works. It's ugly business. It happens. You're in the gambling sector at the end of the day, right? Things come and go. But it hurt DraftKings' image a little bit. So DraftKings took a bit of a hit on Friday. Not too much. Really 1%. Under 1%. DraftKings looked like it's coming home. It's coming to the 50s. I think it continues to drop on Monday. We're going to go into the kind of historic RSI of around 30 again before it bounces. You can go lower. This was a short report, though. This was on the tailwinds of a short report. But I think DraftKings is coming home. I personally play puts on DraftKings. So I go to October 15th. I'd buy the $50 puts, or I'd buy even the $45 puts if you want to get an more affordable one. Personally, I would say this. Look, I know a lot of people play options like we want to buy 100 contracts, 200. No, don't do that. Pace yourself, especially if you're new to the contract. Go for the one that's a little bit more expensive. Now you might be saying, why is this put down, and why is this one up? Because the open interest is lower. IV is high here. IV is probably going to cool down on Monday, and then I'd be playing some puts on this one, the $50 puts for $8.15. Or with DraftKings, you really can play. You can play the weeklies if you'd like, quickly in and out, or you can go 2 weeks out and play these. This one has no open interest, so I wouldn't even touch it. I'd go for the $10.15. $50 puts is what I would personally play. All right? Cool. It's cool. Sophie's still here. Perfect. You got to see your chart. Let's see. Ross says Newt. N-E-W-T. What's that? E-W-T. Oh boy, we are 5 away from 100 likes, folks. Smash that like button. Ooh, Newt's been getting destroyed. Okay, Ross. So you got 9 EMA resistance. Not good resistance to have. It's not usually good to have that. I'd wait for them to break the 9 EMA resistance, then establish a position around the time when they make 9 EMA their support like they had in the past. Something clearly happened here that caused a drop. Stock hits 52-week high on Tuesday and then comes back down so hard. Drops 10%. After Compass Point downgrade. They got a downgrade. That sucks. Okay. That hurts the stock. Downgrades hurt the stock. Upgrades sometimes go unnoticed, and downgrades sometimes hurt the stock. So, I don't know. This one comes down to due diligence, right? I don't know anything about the company. So I would say this, Ross. I'm going to have some fun. I'm going to draw some lines and have some fun while we do this. But this was, if I was in the stock and I was trading it, this would have been where I would cut my position, and it would have protected and entered puts around this point when I lost the 20 MA. So it would have been able to buy puts here when you lost the 9 EMA, and then just came crashing down. It depends on your due diligence, right? This stock has been getting destroyed. It was a $4 stock essentially. Now it came out 24, ran back up, and then got destroyed on simple downgrade. Shouldn't by Compass. Who the heck is Compass? I've never even heard of them. But a simple downgrade from Compass Point, which no one really cares. I've never heard Compass Point's upgrades ever moving a stock. They're not like JP Morgan or anything like that. So it really sucks. They switched from DCB to a bank. I don't know what that means. My pleasure, Baruch. I'm sorry if I'm saying it incorrectly. Forgive me. We're 5 away from 100 likes, folks. Make it happen. Make it happen so I could reach out to the producers and say, hey, we got 100 likes. We got 100 likes on our first stream back in 2 weeks. We need 5 more people to hit that like button. Keep it coming. We did solve it in Sydney. We did solve it already. Just scrub a little forward. Thank you, Snook. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have future videos on my YouTube channel. A lot of really good stuff coming. I think the iPhone video will probably do well if you guys come through, watch it, hit the like there. $300 off on how to do that, and it's not with a trade-in. So people are like, "You're gonna do it with the trade-in? Is that how you?" No trade-in, nothing like that. Very simple strategy to get $300 off your iPhone. It's really cool. It's really cool. And I think you guys are gonna like that. So definitely, if you're gonna buy the new iPhone, I'm gonna record the video after this, and I'm gonna try to have it up this week because I know everyone's going out and trying to buy iPhones. So I want to make sure that you guys get that. But in order to see that, you're gonna have to go to the old RyanStocks.com, hit the first tile, and subscribe. Why did I say subscribe? I don't know what's going on. I don't think it's Tropicana. I'll check though. The comments, Ryan. Switch to DC. Okay. H-bar may pop. The CEO speaking at the Market Rebellion annual conference get-together in Las Vegas. They switched from a DCB to a bank. I don't know them, but we can end. We'll take a look at their chart. These conferences and talks sometimes do very well and sometimes don't do very well. That's what I would just be very cautious of. H-bar. Okay, so H-bar looks like it's a crypto, which I don't know anything about. Yeah, I don't know anything about H-bar. I apologize. All right, let's see what we can do. All right, let's do it. Last, we'll do 2 more. We'll do Snap and we'll do Baba and we'll call it a day. So let me do Snap first. We'll do Snap first. Let's see. You guys, I hope you guys hit the like button. If you guys are asking for stocks, please just hit the like button. I've definitely done over 100 stocks right. That means a few of you aren't hitting the like button. You got a simple deal. You hit the like, you get a stock review. Simple. Snap, recovering, fantastic, killing it. I told my team right here. I had calls on the watch list. I'm going to find the screenshot to show you. Where is it? Where are you? Here you go. Here it is. Let me show you. Look, snap calls. This was sent the night of the 21st for the 22nd. Snap puts, snap calls, not puts. Sorry, $80 puts for 10-1. They're still holding them. This was just the first day of results of the first day. I said the MACD is about to curl green, so this was on the 21st. Sent out, so I'll show you here. 21st. MACD is about to curl green as it did. You can see here, curl green. RSI is very strong as it was, as we saw here. RSI was strong. And we're going to retest and break the 76 resistance as we clearly did. Here's the screenshot one more time. Here's the description. Went 4 for 4 on these plays. Autodesk call. Probably never even heard of them. Printed for us. Twitter calls, Snap call, and DraftKings puts. Remember the $50 puts I told you guys about? This is where they were. And we did them. Again, you can join the Patreon, RyanStocks.com. The second tile is the page. Sign up for the page. We're 1 like away from 100 likes. 2 likes. So we got a dis. Someone switched their like to a dislike. So, screw you. Whoever did that. Whoever did that, you suck. And I don't want you on the stream anymore. Go home. You suck. And I hope your stock goes to 0. I'm just kidding, but I'm not kidding. I really mean it. That one. You're a nasty person. $83. I think Snap keeps going. I think Snap can go to 85. Um, there's no real resistance here. It will cool off eventually because you are above the Bollinger Band now. You did close above the top Bollinger Band of 80. So this is a 50-50 scenario. If volume is still there on Monday, it can keep going to 84, 85. 84 realistically, right? 84 realistically. But if not, no good. No bueno. I like more push it. I don't know what that means. All right, last one, Baba. We said it. We do it. This would be our last one. Alibaba puts. Oh, there you go. There you go. Matched perfectly with what I said. Alibaba puts. Look, China's having a rough time. It's going to get rougher with Evergrande. It's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse there. Stay away from it. Don't even touch it. Don't even play puts on. It's so bad. I'd stay away from Baba put. I played puts on Baba. I play 10, 15, 145. Ooh, IV is high. You could really play any of them. I play the 120 puts. I play this one. Play the 120 or 125 puts. You know what? I'd go with the 120. Yeah, just go with the 120 puts. That way your cost is a little bit lower. And in case things go awkward, you'll still be covered a little bit. All right. Thank you. I don't know what Allegrand. Oh, a Grand Slam. Yes. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. So let's. Oh, sorry. I just hit the mute button somehow. Sorry about that. So we are done here. We're done for the. All right. Peloton. Last one. Last one is Peloton. That's it, and we're done. Peloton's having a rough time. Peloton's having a rough time. It needs to establish support, and then it'll slowly make its way back up. It's one of those stocks. Give it some time. We are at the 91 support, which you had support previously. Give it time. It'll eventually make its way back up there, but for now, it's going to have a rough time. All right, folks, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you all. Thank you all for your kind thank yous and messages and all that. Do me a solid. If you haven't already, hit the like button. Also, if you could do me a solid, subscribe to my YouTube channel here. Go to ryanstocks.com. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel there. I've got a bunch of cool videos coming out there. All of these links are at ryanstocks.com. You can sign up there, and we can jam out and have some fun. Subscribe to my YouTube. You can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram once in a while. I've been dropping some gems on the old Instagram stories about stocks that I'm buying, options that I'm playing. I'm trying to get the Instagram going a little bit more as well. So that's there for you. If you'd like to subscribe and sign up there, you could do. All three of them are there. Benzinga Pro subscriptions available to you as well if you'd like to sign up for a free trial, 100% free. You get a 2-week free trial. And if you want to keep it, you can use Ryan R as your code to get 30% off for life. That's the only promo code that does that. Webull, Robinhood, you get free Bitcoin. And we got stock merch that 100% of the proceeds are going to the Cures Foundation, which we got to check. I think we only got 2 orders, but we've got to check that soon and get that sent out. But again, YouTube, let's make it happen. Thank you, folks, so much for watching. Appreciate you for coming back. It's been 2 weeks. Happy we got some viewers. Happy we got some questions. I appreciate you all. Hit the like button on your way out, and bye-bye.